Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. We've got a fast track, a firm turf course for the first time now. It's been about 3 weeks since we've been on the grass. Unfortunately, this is South Florida, Brian, and we've got a lot of those monsoon afternoon showers, but we've been clear the past 24 hours. We're back on the grass today. We're back in the sunshine meet now. Fun stuff happening today.
It is fun stuff, and it's the first of 3 Sire Stakes Saturdays here. We'll have the Desert Vixen and the Dr. Fager a little bit later on, a couple of huge favorites that are very exciting racehorses. We'll see how that all unfolds, and of course the Rainbow Six at $175,000 in the estimated jackpot. That'll kick off in race 6 today. Ron Nicoletti will be back with us here for the opener. But here's we'll give his ticket out in a little bit. The pool should be very, very healthy today.
Yep.
Not a lot of other things going on, especially early. They put almost $250,000 into the early pick 5 yesterday as well. So we're ready to roll here, fast and firm. We got an overnight handicap on the turf and the 2 really, really good Sire Stakes. So I'm looking forward to this card.
Yep, it's a lot of fun. Let's take a look at your early pick 5 ticket to get things going.
$30 for me. We'll go 5 deep in the opening leg, and we'll get to it in a second. Couple singles, including race number 2, and that is the 3 Nalita for Jose D'Angelo on a little bit of a comeback. And race number 3, 3 deep with the 4 Freedom Principle on top. And I'll tell you what, that is a good one on Tapeta as well. Looking forward to that for solely 3-year-olds there. Race 4, we'll get back to the turf there. The 3 Dash of Lemon, a newcomer for Jenna Antonucci. That might not be a bad thing in that race, and my best bet of the day is in race number 5, and that is Wicklow Gal. Looks like she's ready to do her thing on the front end because I don't see anybody running with her early, Samantha.
I like it. $30 play. You've got a couple strong opinions, and that's what you're supposed to do. Spread in the other ones and really press on the ones that you like. But the opener a bit wide open. The 2 on top for you, Cajun Prime. 4th start for the Mike Yates barn.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with this horse. Okay, very early in the betting. It's
Right.
almost silly to mention the odds, but 11-1. This horse on paper is as good as anybody on the maiden special weight drop with the, quote, big figure last time at 74-1. So I don't really know if they're going to bet her or not. I kind of split the difference with the morning line. She's cutting back. Boy, Samantha, there's just nothing to really latch onto in this race.
No, there's really not. And we'll take a look at the replay of China Blue and Saturn's Ghost, because what do you do with both of these? I mean, it's early in the betting, and they bet these Bobby DeBono horses, but what do you make of this first time?
Well, she's fast, okay?
Yeah.
That's a big positive. And, you know, Bobby, she went 44-1 chasing on debut. I would expect her to be a little tighter today. She's dangerous on the front end, but with all that being said, there's plenty of other speed in here that could potentially pose a problem for her. As you kind of mentioned, she's going to be a short underlaid price as well.
Yeah.
I want to pretty much make sure I'm alive after this race, and that's why you saw I went 5 deep in there.
The one for me, this is a filly that I've just been waiting to get on the grass because, yeah, they could like the Tapeta or not like the Tapeta, but treat it as a completely different surface, because I think that you can just see how long her pasterns are just from her breezing in the mornings and seeing her here. I've just had in my notes that I want her on the grass. Now, it could be a tricky post, but I think she'll be running late.
Yeah, she's not on my screen, but she was the 5th horse I used
Yeah.
in my early pick 5. It's Jose D'Angelo. It's Drayden Van Dyke. Good to see Drayden riding for other big-time barns,
Right.
because obviously he got going with Safi, but he has shown now, and I think we can all agree that the probation period's kind of over.
Right.
He's been here plenty of time now. We know how good he is, regardless of who he's riding for, and he'll have to work something out from down there, but this is an obvious must-use to me.
Right. Race 2, it is a mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta, claiming $8,000 level. Non-winners of 2. We scratched the number 1, Puckered. Not a lot of scratches at all today. Brian will tweet out that early pick 4 ticket. And for you, which way did you go? You went
with the 3.
Nolita, okay.
So, you know, she hasn't been out since April 14th. It's not ideal. She's dropping for 8. It's not ideal either. But Bruno Schickendas loves winning races.
Yeah.
And he wins over 100 races a year because the horses are in where they belong and in where they can win. Jose D'Angelo's a high percentage guy because of that too.
Right.
His main guy, kind of Amicio, is here. The Tapeta races are better than this field, so I'm fine with just kind of landing on her. I did add the 4, and again, I'll tweet it out. I did add Darling Darley to my early pick 4, but I didn't want to split that and double it up for the early 5.
Let's take a look at that replay, too, because the Darling Darley and the Na Dudette, this was 2 starts back for Darling Darley, and for Na Dudette was her last start. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. Or no, 2 starts back for Na Dudette. Or a few starts back for Na Dudette, but I liked this effort from Darling Darley a lot better than Na Dudette.
No, I did too, and
Yeah.
it's a huge race, and it makes her arguably, if not the horse to beat, she's a shade higher on the line at least
Right.
than Alita. The thing that bugs me, and this was her 16 too, we're running for 8 today.
Right.
That is a drop. We talked about it yesterday, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 5, vice versa. Not much. This
No.
is a drop. Thing that bugged me is that she was terrible last time on the turf at 3 to 1.
Yeah.
And she's an okay turf horse. She's won a turf race.
She has.
It's her only win. What happened?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that it's easy to excuse maybe a race like that where Oro ran like she was shot out of a cannon, to be quite frankly.
Darling Darley ran like she was shot, though.
Well, there you go. There's 2 sides to that. Race number 3, it's a very competitive 3-year-old optional claiming event, 1.70 miles on the Tapeta here. It's a field of 7 and a competitive one at that. I kept looking. I thought this race was on the grass. The 4 on top for you, Freedom Principle, who, man, has just been knocking heads with way stronger competition, Brian.
It's as simple as that. And as a stakes winner actually here on the turf, is perfect in 4 starts here on the Tapeta. 2 of them are wins, and, now we're adding the L. The Lasix is going on today,
huge.
too. Other horses are adding it, too. But this is a massive, massive class drop. And the thing is, Jose Garofalo took him to Penn National, took him to Churchill Downs. He was not embarrassed in either race. Now, I know he was 7th, but he was beaten less than 5 lengths, just over 9 lengths on Derby Day. So this is a horse that has not embarrassed himself at all.
No.
He's with a group today. He's the horse to beat. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, he is. It'll be interesting to see what they do betting-wise with him. You have the 6 lower down. I like this horse getting back to the Tapeta here today. I just prefer him on the Tapeta versus the turf. And I think the flow of the race, there's some speed in here, and I think it's going to set up well for him. He's my long shot today.
Yeah, I mean, he should be 6 to 1. I hope he is for you, because the Tapeta win, as good as it was against maiden special weight foes.
Right.
And everybody in here is going to look at that, and they're not going to blink their eyes at all. But it was also his only start on Tapeta. He's a definite player. It's Jose D'Angelo. He's looking up at more than a few in here, but that's his only start on the surface.
Yeah.
Clearly, he likes it.
What do you do with a horse like Cuban Thunder? Because this horse is back, and he burns a lot of money.
Yeah, I am. I'm not playing this barn at
Right.
all. And I know the meet has changed, and Jorge Delgado is eligible to flip the switch a little bit, as horses now have conditions that they've already run in. The barn just wasn't very good during the Royal Palm meet, and I got to see it to believe it before I take an underlaid prices on horses like this. Hasn't been out since April. Now, the Tapeta race was really good. He was not far behind Salvatore Prince, another dropper who adds Lasix as well, and is 2 for 2 on Tapeta, but I don't want a short number on Cuban Thunder.
Yeah, if you're going to spread in this race, just don't take Salvatore Prince and leave out Pet Matt, really. I don't think. I think if you're going to spread
the two D'Angelos?
Yeah, the 2 D'Angelos. I think if you're playing a ticket such as that. Race number 4, this is 7.5 furlongs on the grass course here. It kicks off that Tropical Turf Pick 3. It's a real Tropical Turf Pick 3. I've got the ticket here today, and it's a good one too, Brian.
Yeah.
It's very tough. It's a 15% takeout, $3 minimum. We're going to get to this race in just a second, but flip all the way to the 8th race. I do have the 4 on top. That is Braun, race number 11. I hope we're alive at this point here. I've got the 4 Custodian on top for Safi Joseph. It's a $36 play. I have a feeling that this Tropical Turf Pick 3 is going to be huge today, Brian, because it's competitive. It's one of the best takeouts of any multi-race turf sequence in America here. And $16,000 maidens to get it going, and this race is a bit of a puzzle. The 3 for you, A Dash of Lemon. You said it earlier. It's not a bad thing to be a new face in this field.
No, the only time she's run on turf, and I shouldn't even say run, the only time she was in a race on turf, she was behind Bushu, who I actually bet and played in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. So that's a very good race. Now, she was beating literally a football field. She's been beating a football field in all 4 starts. But Lasix goes on. It's a huge class drop. Jenna Antonucci and Jose Morelos have done very, very good work.
Yep.
Jose's been in such good form for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks now. Great to see. KG ride yesterday up the fence. Lasix goes on, and we've never seen her here, and that's good enough for me in this group.
Well, that's why I went with the 8, Cajun Fever, because we've not seen her. And Heather Smolin, if she's telling this, I love homebreds in for the bottom tag, because this is what they are at the end of the day. Heather Smolin has recently acquired even more horses, it seems like. Young trainer. She used to be an assistant for Barkley Tag, and she's done good work. And I just feel like, hey, this is the horses that are in this race are not anything to write home about, because let's look at Darling Luna and Shining Sky, because they're going to play these horses, and what do you do with them? As
they should, because they lay over the field, at least on paper. But now we are a combined 0 for 16. Here's the race here. Darling Luna with more speed than Shining Sky, so you got to give her a big edge in terms of, the 2 of them. At least that's how I look at it. You don't want to be you don't want to be where Shining Sky is on the turf here. It's as simple as that. Edgard has been aboard 3 starts. He has not been able to get any speed out of her at all, so he kind of just rides her how she is, and she fits in this race. But you can't really. They're the 2 horses to beat. I think we both readily admit that. But we're also quite comfortable going elsewhere.
It's not a bad thing to have a new horse in this field. Race number 5, 1 mile and the 16th on the Tapeta. This is a claiming $10,000 level 4 fillies and mares 3 and up. It's a clean race of 8, a competitive one. Again, this early pick 5. Get involved in this because it's going to be tricky, and I can see it paying quite well. The 7 for both of us, Wicklow Gal. I think this is your best bet.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're finally on her.
I'm finally on her, so she's probably got no chance.
Exactly,
I never play her, but you just look at the race on paper, and there's no one in here to run with her early on. Not that even she needs a lead, because she stalked 3 back. You draw a line through the Tapeta race 2 back, because that's not her group, okay? She can't play with those gals.
No.
But you look at her at the 10K level in the last 2 times, she's absolutely aired. Amicia put her on the lead. I would assume at least somebody wants to go, hell-bent early, and she can settle, but nobody is supposed to run with her early, and I don't really see anybody running with her late.
No, I tried to make a different horse in this race, because I feel like I've gotten so lucky with Wicklow Gal in so many of her starts in which she's won, but I couldn't. Cabernet is an interesting, at least kind of new shooter. She comes into the race with 2 wins.
She does, and we don't like to really talk too much about the figures, but boy, she is really slow.
Yeah, that's one thing, one way to put it. Go ahead.
No, the other thing is, the other reason why I like Wicklow Gal too much is she fled the scene, broke what was a losing streak last time. Is she going to double up? There's no way.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, she fled the scene. She finally won. She didn't want to do it, though.
Yeah.
She did not want to do that, but she got it done. And Queen Daymar, you don't have her anywhere. She tried hard in the race against Wicklow Gal, but there's just no situation in which I see the tables turning today.
No, and, credit to the Frank Rigolabuto barn. He's got some wins this year, but now we're claiming off of Victor Barboza. The Sunroof race was good.
Yeah.
Sunroof is very good in these kind of races for Safi. I can't see Queen Daymar moving forward, though.
No, it's very hard to make. That's 5 of them. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got the Ron Nicoletti's Rainbow 6. We are getting into the Florida Sire Stakes that kicks off in race 6, so don't go away.
And they're off.
New DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access Past Performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau and Samantha Perry with you on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. We're now one day into the Sunshine Meet. We are kicking off the trio of Florida Sire Stakes today in race number 6 as we see this local talent kind of develop and grow. It's very exciting. But Ron Nicoletti, I heard, is back. It might be his body double, but we'll see. And he's got the Rainbow 6. I'll let you take us through his ticket.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be out here for the opener. He's telling stories in the office, so we'll see if we can
get him in.
Turn him off a little bit and get him out here. But 43.20, that's it for Ronnie, as he usually does. And you can see the single in race number 8. And Braun is his best bet. It's a bold one. Race 8, I can't wait to talk about it. Some speed came out of the race. They are going to fly early on, though, and I like what he's doing there. And then you can see spreading a little bit. In both of these Sire Stakes, he's playing, I don't know if he's playing against Win and You're In. I know he's not picking rated by merit. So if you can beat those two horses in these Sire Stakes, they're going to be very short prices. Things automatically and immediately blow up in this Rainbow. It's
an exciting Rainbow 6, and it starts off with the Desert Vixen. Now, this is the fillies division of the Florida Sire Stakes. 6 furlongs on the fast main track here. It's a clean race of 7. And Win and You're In. Let's show the replay, and you can talk about her.
Well, I don't know how you're going to beat this horse today, quite frankly, because she's super good. She's super fast in the body of this race. She's fine coming up the rail. This is very professional. I mean, you're a horsewoman. This is very professional. She will have to work something out from down there, but honestly, she's could have made her 3 to 5. I'm not going to do that, but she is going to be a very short price. In my notes I said, can you bring her to the Spinaway? I thought she deserved a shot at the Grade 1 Spinaway at Saratoga off these two absolutely awesome races. By the way, this is a stakes race against Open Company, too. That's a problem for her, the rest of these gals in here.
Well, the rest of these gals ran 2nd and 3rd, and you see the gap between those and her. And what's interesting about Win and You're In is she was going backwards at one point, at like midway through the far turn, and then she kicked on again. Now, she never switched leads. For me, okay, she might win today, and I'm not being hard-headed by not putting her on top. She might win today, but if she starts getting into these, like the next leg of the Sire Stakes or gets headed, I wonder if she's going to be able to prevail. Because something like not switching your leads is a habit, and old habits die hard, and that's a tough one, and that makes or breaks this competitive filly division.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The problem for these, and you hinted at it, she's already absolutely whacked the other horses in that. So your horse, to me, is the only horse with a chance.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at her, because Our Morning Brew and Don't Fool With Me are in this. Our Morning Brew, first off, had a real heck of a time here, because Don't Fool With Me, and credit to her, she ran huge. Don't Fool With Me nagged her the whole entire way, just was right there. And credit to Hector Diaz Jr., because he was playing the race tactics here of, okay, I've got a chance, let's see what we can do. And Our Morning Brew just kicked clear. And Brian, you and I talked about this yesterday with Everell Racing and Safi Joseph. Our Harper Rose had to scratch out of this race last year, and she was going to be even money in that spot. And now I feel like there's a little bit of redemption time here, because our Harper Rose came back in the Sharp Susan, and came back and won. But she's the only other one, and on my Rainbow 6 ticket, it's not conducive to play both of these, and I'm just going to take a stand with maybe a horse that's going to get better.
It's possible.
It's a lot to do on figures, though.
It's a lot. She's got a problem with Wiggle and Wine to her outside. It's not like she went fast in that race early.
No.
It was in the slop. She wasn't even favored, which was really weird to me. But to me, she is kind of the main danger. I put Wiggle and Wine in second because she's outside. That's all.
Yeah.
And she seems to be progressing, too. Wiggle and Wine was on the rail last time, taking all the worst of it. It's a very compelling. It's even a race within a race. And, the best horse by a mile, to me, is going to be sitting there probably while Our Morning Brew and Wiggle and Wine are dueling.
Going at it,
just kind of licking her chops. So
it'll be a very interesting race, and it'll start separating at least both all of these horses need to take a step forward, but I feel like there's a lot of room for error for everybody except Win.
The one thing I will say, that 6 furlongs today, the next time is 7. I still think, and I don't really have an issue with Win and you're in going 7 furlongs. My point is, I think today you can still be a little precocious and win.
That's a good point.
You got a man or
you
woman
can be
up
a bit
next
forgiving.
time.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking as well, as long with that
Yeah.
train of thought. Now, race number 7. This is a competitive race. It's a maiden special weight, 6.5 furlongs. These are for 2-year-olds. It starts the late pick 5. I had a heck of a time with this late pick 5. But I'm singling right off the bat. This is my best bet today. You see 8, 9, 10, and 11. They're tricky for me. Race number 8, that is the second leg in the Tropical Turf. Pick 3, I do have the 4 Brawn on top. Ronnie and I could be paid well or not. Be crying on the way home. Race 9, the 7 on top for me, all class. Race number 10, I do have the 8 on top, rated by Mare, but I'm going to use a couple of others in there. And race 11, the 4 Custodian on top. A 40-50 play. I alluded to, Brian, a very competitive race to get things going here in this late pick 5. And you went with the 4 on top. Rafid, Edgar Zayas will ride.
Tyler Gaffalione's not here today.
No, he's
We'll get
not.
him back here.
We will, but not right now. He's got some
promise
stakes
you.
in Kentucky Downs to ride today.
We promise. He's not here today, but he will be back. You remember, I picked this horse in
you
the
did.
Proud Man. He ran pretty good.
He did.
He actually did run pretty good. He gets all the best of it now. Not only is the race behind him, Antonio Sano never wins with first-time starters. He's 4%. He was a very reputable 4th in that race. Look at the works since then. Now we're second out. Edgard's going to ride, and I just kind of feel like he's in a good spot. But I agree with you. This is a good race, and the race does go through your horse.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay of Big Shoulders. This is such an interesting name for a horse here. Glen Hill Farm, homebred. One post, bad. Very, very bad. But watch this, because this horse, I felt like Edwin Gonzalez did a good job of finding a good spot on the track. And this horse made up a lot of ground. You can see the size of him, compared to the rest. And watch, if you watch the gallop out in that race, he just blows by. He's going to get an extra furlong and a half to work with today. That is huge. Still not an ideal post, but the good thing about the 6.5 furlongs is you've got a long back stretch to take a good position here. And this is not a horse that quarter horses from the gate by any means.
No, they can't really ride a race long enough probably for this horse.
Right.
This dam wanted to run all day. She won a grade 3 going long. She's out of a by AP Indy, and spun to run is probably not as long in the pedigree, but still wanted to do it. Very fast race. We'll see Neokos, right, coming up a little bit in race 10 in the Sire Stakes. So there's your gauge going forward. If this horse was a little bit better drawn, he would have been shorter than 3-1. They're going to bet this horse pretty good today.
Another Monarch underneath for both of us, a horse that Ron Spatz, man, he last weekend just blew like 2 statistics out of the water with his maidens here, and this one, the works on the dirt are pretty solid.
Yeah, this is interesting because the dam was a really good runner.
Yes.
She won the Hollywood Oaks, the grade 2, yet she hasn't sent out anything that could run an inch.
No.
6 foals have hit the track. None of them have won on debut.
No.
None of them are even worth mentioning.
Yeah.
But as Samantha said, the works are there. They did pay $65 for McLean's Music. He's not all the way outside. That is a positive, too. Let's check out the tote board on a horse like this.
Race number 8, it is a handicap on the grass here. The rails are at 17 feet today. This is called the Mambo Meister. 1 mile on the grass here. It's a late pick 4, and you've got the ticket.
I do. It starts with my long shot, Grand David. We'll get to this in a second. Look at this. There we go. 5 deep in race 9. I don't know what the heck to do here. I picked all class to 7, but I'm not getting beat in this race. I'm not trying to beat rated by merit either. I have nothing clever to offer in the Sire Stakes. I'm just going to sit back and watch what I think are 2 really good horses. And in the finale, you're going to have a real problem beating Remerton, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And Noble Tiger is next up on the poll there, $20.
All right. Let's get into race number 8 here. We have the 3 Casey Chief is out, and the 8 Catton is out of this race. And the 1 Grand David for you. Is this, well, I've got the replay.
Oh, good.
So let's show the replay because Grand David and Awesome Bourbon, the Fly the W race, wow.
Grand David
Wow.
ran his eyeballs out here at 66 to 1. Look at the fractions here. He was on the pace the entire way. He was forced into first run. Watch what happens here. He does not let Awesome Bourbon ever run by him. Fly the W, the cool old dude, just runs them all down. This was a remarkable effort by Grand David. The race here, I know 2 speeds came out of this race. The pace is still going to be absolutely hellacious.
Yep.
He's going to get first run. He should still be a price because they're going to see that 66 to 1 and they're going to be scared. That was off the claim last time for the Parbu barn. I'm going to come back to him. Maybe he bounces. Maybe it was a total fluke. But if you watch that race,
It was good.
you can't tell me he didn't run huge.
It really was.
Yep.
And a horse like Braun, who similarly is coming out of a really competitive race with Grandmo the First, who
Right.
in workmanlike fashion turned away Braun, but Braun was so competitive.
He did run well. He's going to face older horses
That's
today.
tough, yeah.
A little bit of a bugaboo for me, but he's another horse that fits the profile of this race, and that is he can settle and kick on. And that was a big-time effort. We didn't get the fastball from Grandmo the First that day, so he might be a little bit dressed up.
Yep.
But anybody that runs second beating a neck to Grandmo the First, you did some good things.
Yes, you did. A very quick race in the making with Portofino on the inside. Just looks like
He's as loose as they want him to be.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's other speed in here. They're not as fast as him, but blinkers go on Lorenz. There's horses that want to be involved. There's also a reason I think KC Chief and Catton came out. They don't want to run with Portofino. I don't know how far he wants to run. He's never run past 5.5
yeah,
furlongs.
this will be interesting, and I can't imagine they're going to let him have it easy on the front
I
end.
hope not.
Otherwise, Edgar Zayas, he's crafty. He can just steal
Yeah.
it on the front end. Now, race number 9, it's state-bred fillies, 3-year-olds and upward. It's 7 furlongs on the main track. I want to mention the late pick 5, the Rainbow 6, pardon me, is all dirt and turf today.
I like it.
Okay, so it's a field of 8, a very competitive one, all class. I mean, we saw Brian's late pick 5 ticket. You saw my late pick 4 and my late pick 5. We don't have an opinion here, but I think you cannot ignore the 2 Savvy Joseph runners.
No, I don't think so at all. And hey, how about Skylar Spanenbell? Been in very good form
Yeah.
late. She doubled up the other day, and now this horse is the old all systems go angle because this horse runs second to Personal Choice last time off a layoff that was coming up on a year. Well, that's behind her now. She's perfectly drawn. I have no idea. I loved Amy the Butcher last time, and she was absolutely dreadful. I don't understand why. Maybe she rebounds, but to me, all classes just, at least now, better. I don't know.
Alice Queen finally graduated last time out. She ducked out right at the wire. It was interesting. I don't know if there's something else going on the gallop out. Misael kind of had to really keep her in. Watch her, though, because she might be vulnerable.
Yeah, that race is going to beat these horses, but she's facing winners
Right.
now for the first time. It was by far anything better than she's ever done. Maybe she comes back a little bit. Our Disaster did come back to win, so it flatters her. There's no doubt about that.
Race number 10 is the Dr. Fager. This is the males division of the Florida Sire Stakes. 6 furlongs on the main track. We've got a field of 8. We'll kick things off with Rated by Merit and pull up his replay. I'll let you talk about him because he, at one point, was the fastest 2-year-old in the country.
In the country on July 13th. A 92 buyer on July 13th for a 2-year-old is it's kind of sort of impossible.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know if he even put it all together here. You can see him. Is he on his wrong lead there? Or
Yep.
he was earlier, right? Even I
Yep.
can tell that. But he levels off. He's a homebred for Vinny Viola. The sky's the limit. He's perfectly drawn. He certainly has looked like you caught up with Mike Yates and will run that, but he certainly has worked forwardly to this. How far does he want to run? I don't know, but that was 6 furlongs, and he's
Exactly.
going to get it. That's the other thing, too. July 13th, he won at 6 furlongs. So maybe it's next time you try to beat him. Today was not the spot for me.
Neo Quos will pull up the replay of
Yep.
him because this is an important race as well. Thank you, guys. Macho Music came back to win in a really sharp fashion last weekend. We were against him. I don't know where that race came from, but Neo Quos ran big here.
He did run big. And Macho Macho Music won by the length of the stretch
Yeah.
the other day. Freaked. It's a good effort. It's really the only start Niakos has ever had. It's like the other race, though. It's a post position problem, I think, for this horse with other speed to his outside. Miguel Vasquez, I don't think he has any choice but to go.
Yeah.
And rated by merit, again, just really gets all the best of it in this spot. It's as simple as that.
A stakes winner already in the field
Yeah.
is the 4 Candy Crumbs, and thank you guys. You got the replay of this from Colonial. This is an advantage here because look at where he came from.
Well, I want to say a couple things here.
Yes.
I do replays and notes for Colonial Downs. You will never see a horse win a dirt race like this at Colonial Downs, ever.
Yeah.
Okay? They go 44 flat routinely, and they don't stop. Now, this is state breds, Virginia breds.
Right.
Okay? Or restricted state breds, excuse me. It's a good effort. I don't
Huge.
really have any idea what it means today against better horses, against what we think are real serious horses. That was a good effort. And
It
hey,
was.
Edgard, you want to ride? And Edgard rides for Mary Leitner, too.
Yeah, this is impressive, and this horse has been on this track before, so this is nothing new. That was an impressive victory, and I think this horse, especially moving forward, we're going to see maybe something special from this horse, and we'll see. But today, all eyes, of course, will be on Rated by Merit, but we'll see if he's the real deal or not. Now, in the finale, a mile and a 16th on the grass course. Don't let this claiming tag fool you, because this maiden race is not an easy race by any means here. 3 No Plebeian is out. It's a field of 8 of them, and the 5 Rimerton on top for you. Looks like his day.
Got to be.
Has to be.
Got to be. He ran really well for Arnaud Dabur, very low percentage trainer, twice here on the
Yeah.
turf. What's going on today? I know I said I'm off the Delgado barn.
Yeah.
Roddy Valenti claims this horse. This is a huge trainer move.
Yep.
Today has got to be the day for
Yeah.
him.
The race just completely runs through him. The 4 Custodian, I don't have anything clever to add other than the fact it was an impossible post position last time out. I think for the group and being in this $25,000 level, look, they didn't pay a lot of money for him at all, but he's a half to Creative Cairo, who's a turf stakes winner going long. I think the grass is going to help. I know you're giving me that look, but if Safi Joseph wins the finale, you'll be like, oh yeah, and you let him go off at 5-1.
Yeah, he was 11-1 on debut, and he stunk. Hey, Edgard sticks. That's
does.
good. There's the wall. They're trying to throw something at it and see if it sticks. Maybe it does. No, that was a good race on Tapeta with Disattached. He ran
Yes.
okay the other day. He was fine the other day, but yeah, maybe turf wakes him up. I don't know.
Sting Music Noble Tiger, pardon me, is 0 for 6 on the grass.
He's the only one that could beat Remerton
Right.
to me, but again, he's 0 for 6, and he has no upside. At least Remerton now, on a switch to an owner that rarely makes a wrong move when he does these kind of things, he's going forward. Noble Tigers, he's going to run that race again.
I like that you have the 9 in the mix here, because this horse is very interesting, moving from the Dallas Stewart barn to the Jose Pinchin barn. Good works coming into this race. Now, he might not be completely tuned up, but they've gelded him since that.
Gelded, Lasix, 3 for 10. Jose, first timers into his barn. We got a rider here in Lionel. Hey, not impossible. If somebody
No.
wakes up, it's Samantha's horse. I don't like the horse at all, but if he wakes up a little bit on the turf, he's got a chance against this group.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with horses that are
Yeah.
0 for 13, like Rimerton,
Yes.
who you just can't particularly trust. That's 11 for you today on this beautiful Saturday at Gulfstream Park, as we are now kicked off into that sunshine meet. We'll have Pete Aiello upstairs with the scratches and changes, but for the lightning round, just very brief one today since we had so much to get into. But in these Florida Sire Stakes today, you can get money back.
Yeah, it's a great promo. If you bet to win in that race and your horse runs second and third, you can get back up to $10. So, I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
And the proper way to play that is take a little bit of a price. You know, that's where you try to beat Rated by Merit. That's why you try to beat Win and you're in, because if your horse runs second or third, you get your money back, and that is as good as you can do at the track.
It is indeed. Sometimes just getting your money back is a victory. I know for me it is a lot of times. Your best bet today?
Best bet today is for me. That's Wicklow Gal.
Wicklow Gal. All
Yeah.
right. And your long shot?
Long shot is on the turf on the inside in that really good race, and that is we showed the replay. Grand David for me.
All right, I've got Big Shoulders in race 7 as my best bet in my long shot. It was race 3. It's early with Pet Matt. So that's it. That's 11 for us. Ron Nicoletti, myself, and Brian will be with you throughout the whole day, guide you through some winners. Best of luck today on this Saturday race card. And we've got Pete Aiello upstairs. He'll give you the scratches and the changes.